Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the new moon in Pisces for February the 20th. This is being recorded. The new moon kind of runs the 19th, 20th of 2023. This is the energy update. And for what I've been channeling through and the energy that's been coming up around this moon, and of course, Pisces being a water sign, this is truly about, being able to get ourselves to either get ourselves to shore or let ourselves take a leap of faith, or to be able to bring clarity. And so clearing our consciousness is one of the things that was coming up for me, to release those, release that sense of self-punishment, that sense of judgment and criticism that may have owned you for way too long. And this new moon gives us an opportunity to, and as this week's message that was recorded previously, you can go back and watch that one as well. It speaks of being able to be, setting ourselves free. And so setting ourselves free of all that holds us hostage, including that the illusions, the things that have owned us for way too long. And I'm actually looking up this week's message because I want to remember what I called. I'm like, what did I say? I never remember what I said. And what did I say? Hold on. The sabotage of the soul. That was the message. And it's like the sabotage of the soul and light that heals. So that message. And so that was for the 17th, I think it was recorded and released on. And so in that one, the sabotage of the soul is that sense of when we start to release that or start to neutralize the energy that takes us to the places of self-sabotage, that takes us away from our truth, that takes us further into a place of being, in the depths of our own deep dive journey that we have to take sometimes. And just knowing that in self-discovery and self-awareness, that we start to recognize that we don't have to keep, being so hard on ourselves, or when good things are happening in our lives, that we don't have to, that we're not here to self-sabotage those moments, to ruin those moments. Not every single moment in any of our life experiences is going to stay in the energy of joy, happiness, but those moments, if we take enough of those pieces and we bring them together, they actually allow us to create a series of joy experiences. And it reminds us that no matter what is happening, that there was something that filled our soul, and not just for us to keep sabotaging our soul. That there's something good for it that's been serving and filling our souls along the way, and that not everything was us in a state of sabotage or our victim stories or whatever it may be, that we have been victorious, that we have been the heroes of our own journeys, and that we don't have to destroy those pieces of ourselves. And someone says, if someone is quite quick to point out all of that we've done wrong and say, you know what, this is what you did wrong. I remember this about you. I remember that about you. Well, that's their story. And you must have some impact upon people's lives that they remember that about you, but it's not your story, and it doesn't have to be your story. So recognizing that in all of those times, and in our mistakes, and in our flaws, and in our humanness, and in those moments of where we probably may have been sabotaging ourselves, is that when we can shine a light, we can bring clarity. So it's like if you're going on a deep dive, to know that you have a light, you have a flashlight. And if you have that light, then you can turn the light on. Even in the darkness, the light is there, and you can use the light to see further. You can use the light to see what's around you. And when you see what's around you, it's like the fear starts to dissipate, or the judgment, and you start to see things differently. So a new perspective is gained. And so this is a lot of the energy that's been coming up for us. And we've had a lot of this energy around, and I was just actually measuring the box for my new cards. And first I'm looking at the box, and I'm like, well, the cards, I don't know how the cards are going to fit. Like, it doesn't seem like the box seems so little, yet the cards look so big. And I'm like, how's that going to fit? The back doesn't look like those, but I'm like, how's that going to fit in there? And then I remembered that the outside is not a part of the card. This is the lines for printing, right? This is the where they know, this is all the extra that they have to work with to be able to form the cards and to make the cards fit. And so when we realize that we have so many more pieces to our stories that we can take away from the rough edge of us, that we can take away from the outside, and we can start to really truly know that what matters most is what's on the very middle. It is the very center of us. And so what's in the center of us can't be taken away no matter what. It does still exist, even if we don't even know it, if we're not feeling it, if we think it doesn't exist, there is still a sense of their joy does still exist in us. Um, Enthusiasm, the victorious you still exists within you. It's still there and it can still be accessed. It's that sense of being able to find it again, to see it again, to believe in it again, to have faith in it again, and to have faith in that sense of you again as you move forward. And so this new moon coming in with such a superpower to it is it does bring forth this sense of of this Piscean energy, which is that of the two fish, right? And so, but it brings in from many of my Pisceans that I know is that sense of trusting your own intuition. When you are far away from you, you can't trust your own intuition. When you come back to you and you can feel safe with you can trust your own intuition. You can start to be able to trust you again, have faith in you, to know who you are, so that you don't find yourself in those moments of sabotage, but you find yourself being able to get back into a flow. You find yourself in a place of flowing and just riding the wave of life, and knowing that there's going to be those waves and we're just going to ride the waves, and you get good at riding the waves. And you just know there's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. It just is. But in it exists the joy, in it exists the excitement of what's new, what else is to come, what else is there for me. And you start to want to awaken that sense of your explorer, and bringing your explorer, your prospector online, and you want to start to explore more about yourself, more about what's possible, more about your life. And that's some of the energy that we have that's coming with with this Pisces new moon energy. And of course, all new moons do speak about our setting intentions, and intentions are like planting those seeds. But um, often those seeds have been planted so long ago that I want to say this Piscean energy is about remembering the seeds and stop changing your mind. That's a huge one for me, is that that sense of being wishy-washy on what you what you are hoping to grow, what you're hoping to see happen in your life, or changing the plans all the time, changing your mind all the time. Speak of that, it's my daughter. Um, and so changing the mind all the time, like never really being able to be decisive. And it's a time to gain that clarity, to lock in and become, decisive, like really truly make the choice, and not sitting on a fence, not hemming and hawing, not being wishy-washy, knowing that the seeds were planted and that everything is there. It's just the fact that you have to start watering what it is that is truly that which you seek, that which you want most of in your life, that just feels like it's going to fill the soul. So, and allow for your soul growth, for your soul development, for the relationship between you and your soul. And with that, of course, brings about many changes in your own relationships and the relationships that are important to you. It is a time that also brings with this setting an intention to say goodbye, and to say some goodbyes to things that are no longer serving you, and just saying, the more that I gain clarity of what I have space for in my heart and in my life, there's things that are taking up space, that are dormant, that are not that don't really exist in the future in how I feel and sense my future going and being, and that my intuition says it's not working or I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going against it. And I feel like as we come deeper into this month, of course, beyond this new moon, I feel like that's where you're going to be really, making some of the choices, maybe some of the harder choices, but some of the choices that need to be made. So you may find yourself this month making some of the difficult choices and some of the choices that just says, you know what, I have to make sure that I fit in my world, that there's space for my dreams and my desires in my life, and that I belong in my world. And and the team who sits at your table, and really truly getting some clarity. I'm really listening to a whole lot of information. I feel like I have a lot coming in, and I feel it's a very calm, tame energy. Like I feel like I'm very calm. There's this sense of peacefulness with this new moon. There's a sense of calmness. And I feel like, so I'm going to go here with this because I have to really trust this. I feel like some of this is the calm before the storm. And it's like, and so there's a sense of calm. And in order for, in order for some of the things that are breaking through and breaking out to take place, is that we have to, there's sometimes has to be that massive storm to wash away the old. And I feel like there's a bit of a storm coming in that's washing away, that just erodes the things that really doesn't suit you. And it's, I was asking this morning, like, what is my purpose? And I do that every day in a question, is what's my purpose for today only. And so when I was asking about it, and first I'm like, to be a mountain, and then I heard, no, that's your ego's desire to be the mountain. Why would you stand there and let the world erode you? Why would you stand there and let everything else just slow but surely just erode you? You'd be a beautiful statue, but do you really want to be, do you want to be that fixed, stuck energy that just just stays there? Or would you rather be something that transitions? Would you rather be something that goes with the flow of life, that changes with the seasons, that just moves? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess because the way that we're looking at it is that, moving mountains is that sense of being strong and having that sense of strength. But in the meantime, I spent years, and you may have too, having to be the pillar of strength, and that pillar of strength eroded many parts of the self. And now it's in the sense of weakness and vulnerability and fragility, is that I find the strength and see the strength in a different way. And the strength is a sense of movement and flow and transitioning, to have the courage to let things in, to have the courage to let things die off, to have the courage to just be able to know that you're only going to bloom for this period of time, and then that's going to end, or that's going to, like, that leaf is only going to last so long. And if that flower is only going to last so long on a tree, and I'm like, well, I'd rather be that, and just to be able to have that moment in time and experience those, and know that that may go, but the next moment will come again, just like riding the waves, that there's going to be another moment. There's going to be another moment that's going to exist. Something else is going to come. So I'd rather do all the build, like all the transitioning stages of getting to the possibility of the bloom, and having the bloom and feeling that sense of satisfaction and joy, and being able to put that in the bank and put that into the memory books, and put that in, instead of standing there wishing I could bloom and never bloom, wishing I could be and not be, wishing I could sing and not sing, wishing I could, right? Instead of just being that pillar of one thing, what if we can be many more things? What if we can be multiple things? What if we don't have to be so structured that we don't get caught in the sense of this searching and seeking for that one purpose, that one being, that one way to be, that there's so many things for us. There's so many ways for us. There's so many possibilities. And that in the changing of the seasons, just like the changing of the tides, because as these moon cycles change, we look at the moon, but we don't look at the water. It's like, and I'm from and I'm from the East Coast of Newfoundland. Like I'm from East Coast, from Newfoundland. And I know that the waters and how the tides change and how the tides go in and out. And so as the moon changes, as does the water, it's that shift, it's that change. And there's such beauty to that. And there's an essence to that. And so my response that came and I wasn't expecting was I'd rather be the water and the fire. And I'd rather be able to work that together, to coexist with that as my human exists as that water energy. My soul exists as the fire. And the water becomes the reflection, and it allows the fire to reflect a brighter glow, that it has a reflection of love. It has a reflection of something that is to warm us. And so there's a warming sense. And that was how this unfolded for me this morning, and how they spoke to me. And then they told me I could share this. And so sharing this out with you and just being able to bring this to you today in this way of just in this beautiful new moon, somber kind of energy, and just knowing, no, we're going to be in the seasons, we're going to be in the changes, we're going to be in many of those things, and they're going to exist. But we're going to also experience in that there's going to be the blossoms, there's going to be the breakouts, the breakthroughs, the shifts through those storms, through those seasons of change, through the tides, through all things that move and flow. There's the in and out energy. So we have a lot of in and out energy and coming and going. And there's a lot of comings and goings of things that are happening for us. And so not everything is meant, not to last what we call in the stuck energy of lifetime. It's in the lifetime of each experience. And so in those lifetimes of each experience is that you will be, shedding, losing, letting things end so that new things can begin. And sometimes the faces stay the same, but letting relationships evolve, letting your relationship with yourself evolve, letting your own identity evolve, letting the things around you evolve, letting things just go into that sense of flow, and knowing that we can make the things fit if we're willing to let go of some of it. We let things leave us sometimes, and that we can downsize that sense of self. We can afford to lose the things that don't make us fit in our own lives. That's it. We can afford to lose the things that make us, that affect us in a way that it doesn't make us fit into our own lives, so that we can fit in our own lives, so that we know where we belong in our lives, and that we can be present through all of our experience and not be running, avoiding, ignoring, neglecting all of those experiences in our lives, and to just be there. To just be there to experience. You were here upon this earth during this time. Your soul chose to come here during this time, to experience this time, to be in this time, to be a part of this time. Who and what what we bring back after this journey, and what we bring back in wisdom and knowledge that can be huge, is out of this world. But if we're not available, if we're not walking, if we're not blooming and letting things in, if we're just stagnant, we can't see beyond, then how do we get there? Movement, flow, shifts, change. And as powerful as that mountain may be, over time the water does erode it. So which one could be stronger? Which one has the most strength? Something to really think about, right? It's how we view it. It doesn't have to be so fixed. It doesn't have to be so structured. It doesn't have to be, it's just a breaking down of the old ways that just is, this is the only way that can work. There is another way. There's a beautiful way. And it's time for us to start being able to walk some of those beautiful ways and walking into that beautiful energy. And I'm just going to share with you just as soon as I can get it back up here. Sorry. Should have had this brought up, but I didn't. So this morning I shared this in my group. And it was about the Pisces is a water energy. And you may, and about where you have water in your signs and where, what planets you have that are in the water signs. But I myself have I have a Cancer moon energy. But I also have Pisces in my Venus energy, in my Venus. And so wherever it sits in wherever the planets are and the houses that they sit in, all of those things would also impact and affect that energy for you. And so this was what I wanted. Remember, you are made up mainly of water within the body. So let me start. So new moons are for setting intentions, clearing the water, aka the emotions, are what this moon represents. Remember, you are made up mainly of the water within the body, fluidity. You're designed to flow. Fluidity. That was the word. Fluidity. What stories have been trapped in the emotions? Where within yourself do you need to clear the old emotions out of the way? Are your emotions murky? Are your stories murky? And so fluidity, that's the word, fluidity. And allow yourself to sit with fluidity today with this new moon energy and just be present with allowing yourself to flow, allowing things to just flow through, including, thoughts, emotions, whatever may be coming, just let them flow. Don't judge them, just let them go. And just allow space for you to be able to clear this energy today, to be present with this beautiful somber energy and be present with you today. Much love. Have a beautiful new moon, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.